Welcome. If we could stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Welcome, everyone. Kathy, if we can do a roll call, please.
You got it. King. Pugh.
Present.
McDonald.
Here.
Galogly.
Here.
Deskin.
Here.
Bergbauer.
Here.
Bartleson.
Here.
Saban. We have a quorum.
All right. Police Chaplain Ernest Jones is here to open us up.
Please pray with me. Mighty Father, first we just want to say thank you. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your mercy. Thank you for your divine protection. Thank you for watching over our city, Father. Thank you for making your angels encamp around about us. And your word says, in all thy way acknowledge you, and you will direct our path. So we look to the hills from which our help come from, and our help come from you, God. And we ask you to lead and guide tonight. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Good. Thank you. Was Angela's here. Angela wanted to get up and say a few words.
Good evening. To those that don't know me, my name is Angela Adolph. I'm one of the administrators at Lockport Township High School, and we think it's just a great idea to come and tell you about all the things that we have going on at the high school. My hope is always that the community in general feels like it's their high school, not just for the kids that go there. But before I get into that, I wanted to start with some thank yous, specifically to the Lockport Police Department for all of their efforts, not just with Friday, but in general. It's really nice to have that partnership along with Will County for Friday. We super appreciate all of that. And then also to everyone that was here earlier today, that hosted our kids for the internship program. We had about almost 50 kids that were interested in doing it, and they were nice enough to take 30, which is twice of what you took last year. So I think that'll be a great thing for the kids, and what better way to learn about what's going on in your community by coming to what's going on in your community. So I'm super appreciative of that. And then last thing.
Actually, aren't they going to be here next meeting?
I am going to be here next meeting.
No, I mean all the kids, right?
The kids are going to be here next meeting.
All right.
So so you'll have 30 high schoolers, and I will say, like, the measure of how well it went, no one was on their cell phone. So that's pretty good. And then also to everyone that helped with Taste of Lockport, Public Works, Ben, the mayor, Allison, I really appreciate that. So I'm going to be quick because you have a meeting to get to. Just some events that we have coming up. Everyone that lives in Lockport or in the district got invited to a meeting for a community conversation with the superintendent and some administration. The idea is just to talk through what people want with our buildings and our facilities. We encourage everyone, you don't have to come to all three meetings, it's the October 3rd, 10th, and 24th. If you have ideas, the best way to come and have them heard is just to talk to the people that are trying to make the best decision for our community. So we hope that you would take advantage of that. On October 8th, we're hosting Young Hearts for Life. If you don't know what that is, it's a cardiac screening for kids, and we're planning on doing it every 2 years. Last time we did it was 2022, and 10 students were identified needing additional medical treatments. It's free to the children, and we think it's one of the best things that we can offer our families. On October 11th, the Will County Center for Economic Development, we're hosting a breakfast for them. I'm just gonna go quick now. October 24th, there's a college and career night, which hopefully, I know that some of our Lockport buildings and Public Works people are attending. We appreciate that. On October 29th, we're actually hosting a Give Something Back presentation at our Central Campus. November 1st is a gold card dinner. So anyone that lives within the district boundaries and is 60 years old, we host you for everything that we would offer would be no charge to anyone 60 and over. Lockport's been doing this for a long, long time, that we host a dinner and then everyone goes to see the fall play. So we would invite anyone and everyone to come to that. And then we have our Madrigal dinner. If you haven't ever done that, it's fairly spectacular. It hosted on the stage, the kids sing, there's dinner. That's December 6th through 8th. And then we're very proud that we're going to host our 10th annual Veterans recognition night. If you've never gone to that, it's something to behold. They roll out a flag across the entire East Gym. They honor all the veterans that are in attendance. It's really a nice thing that the students do, the coaches do. That is Friday, December 6th. Lastly, we are hosting the Will County Dance Theater to bring Nutcracker back this year. They did it last year. I think it's nice to have like a professional opportunity in our own community, so families can come for $25 as opposed to downtown for $250. So we're hoping that that's something that we can continue and make it a tradition here in Lockport for our families. Of course, there's games and matches for all our sports and everything like that. And I would say if someone was interested in going to any of those things, I hope you'd reach out. I would love to get you tickets. And in closing, one thing that I thought you all should know is that we just had our awarded or recognized our AP scholars. 299 total. Of those 299 total for this year, 162 came from within the city limits of Lockport. Wow. So that little bit right there is nice to know. I also live in Lockport, so I feel like there's lots to be proud of, and I'm just super appreciative that we live in a town that hosts our kids the way and cares for our schools the way that this one does. And I'm always around for questions. If you have any, I'm happy to answer, but mostly just thank you, and I hope that the community comes into the school. Thank you.
All right, liaison reports. We got anything? I got one. What do you got, Dave?
I have, turn my mic on so I don't get yelled at. Okay, Ben and Lisa have met with all the department heads. This is reference to the fiscal budget for next year. So now they're looking to finalize the first draft of the budget within the next 2 weeks. After that, they meet with individual couples of council members to go over the budget. This year should be a little bit easier because last year we had contract negotiations with both the police and the water department. So those are already set for a number of years. So now it's just a matter of Lisa determining how many pencils they're given and erasers and stuff like that. So that once it's completed, it'll be presented and approved by the council and become next year's budget.
All right, very good. Thanks, Ben.
Okay, I just have a couple things. First of all, I just wanted to say happy birthday to Ben. He just celebrated a birthday. So to many more. And then, pardon? Yeah, not quite there yet.
Did you get your colonoscopy? That's when you know.
Membership has its privileges, Ben.
So the next thing that I wanted to say, just a reminder, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and being a two-time breast cancer survivor, I know how important it is to make women and men aware that this can happen to anyone, and you can survive. So just congratulate anyone who is a survivor. That's wonderful. The other thing is just a reminder that our rules have changed slightly with the recognition of the beautification awards. Being October, everybody's getting ready now to put all their fall things out and Thanksgiving things. So make sure that you're out and looking at some of these properties so that way you can submit the applications for the residents. We'll make the contacts with them. And this involves also now City Council. We put them to work on this too. And anyone who takes pride in doing decorations like that, please put in your application, send in your pictures. We'd love to be able to recognize you. Okay, thank you.
Sure. For the police liaison report, today from 3 to 5 p.m., Lockport officers participated in Cones with a Cop here at our Lockport Dairy Queen. This was well attended, and we thank members of the Lockport community who were able to make it out for this event. I was a little disappointed at the quality of the cone I was given from the officer. It looked like a cloud and not the professional, ice cream cone that I'm used
And who
to.
appreciates Christina's
Right,
skill.
exactly, exactly.
You didn't fill the
I watched the cone
Right.
there one time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mess, but it was still delicious. And then on Wednesday, October 9th, from 4 to 7, we'll have officers at the Tip a Cop at Coombs Corner. It's a Special Olympics fundraiser where officers help waiters and waitresses bring out food and non-alcoholic drinks to the customers, and the tips will go to Special Olympics as a donation.
I thought it was gonna be like cow tip. That would have been more exciting.
Tip a Cop.
Yeah,
Right.
tip a cop.
And then finally, on Saturday, October 12th, Lockport officers will be participating in the Rotary Club's 6th annual coffin races here in Lockport. Event starts at 1 p.m. in the Hamilton Street lot for those interested in attending this event. I think, Sonny, you drove the coffin last year. didn't you?
I was a dead person.
Yeah? Are you going to do that again?
I don't know, I haven't been asked.
Oh, I'll bet you do. She's in. Yeah. She's in. And that's it for me.
All right, thanks, man. Anybody else?
I have a couple things. Just a reminder, fall branch pickup starts next week. That is a 1-week run through the city of Lockport, picking up branches. This is not where they keep on going back and forth. So this is a one run through the city of Lockport, and that is next week on branch pickup. Leaf pickup will start the following week, the 14th of October, and that will run up until weather permitting, or until they have all the leaves. So they'll keep doing that one. I also want to just give a couple shout outs to some public works people. Jason Neighbors, who I recall back in May, I mentioned him. He won an award from the Central States Water Environment Association. Because of that award, he is now down at WEFTEC, which is the Water Environment Federation's Technical Exhibition and Conference, which is being held down in New Orleans. He's down there next week. He is part of the Operations Challenge representing the city of Lockport. So good luck to Jason. And I also wanted to mention one of the citizens came up to me last night and was really thankful. We had an issue where they had bee infestation in their parkway trees. And they called, we had Public Works out there that day, and they are so pleased the next day the bees were gone. So thank you so much. And that was Neil Bashan who actually went out there and serviced these people. So a little heads up for him, and we appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mayor, I just wanted to say one other thing. We had Shred Day last Saturday. It was a success as always. People thanked us. Every car thanked us for doing this. So they really are very appreciative of what the city does. So thank you to everyone for your participation and encouragement on doing that. So,
Right
thank you.
on. All right, anything else? I was just gonna make a, kind of a fun acknowledgement here. So, 10 years ago, Patty Pastori came up to me and said, hey, would you guys be interested in doing a Sister Cities program with Asiago? And she goes, as you guys know, this town has a lot of immigrants, right? The Radageros, the Pastoris, the Canivas, the Bag of Donuts, right? So they're all here. And mainly because after World War I, the plateau was devastated. So a lot of people just immigrated out of the city because off of Asiago and came here by chance. And so, so Patty's like, I have a cousin on the city council there, and I thought it was a great idea, and it went really smooth because a lot of times, I was just talking to Frank Kaler yesterday. He was interim city manager when I first came on board here, and he was saying that they're going through the process of being sister cities, and it's kind of arduous. Ours went really smooth because we had this great connection already, and it wasn't like with the Sister Cities program. It's like an adoption agency where you got to sit with these. Really smooth with Asiago, and it's been great. And I wanted to acknowledge. Come on up, you guys. I want to just acknowledge the Sister Cities kind of wheels here. I got some certificates. Come on up. So it's really just an appreciation of all that you guys have done. And not only, is it just setting this program up and, I would like Cornwall Travel would set up a lot of travels for citizens to go there and such, and that was great for his business. We did try to get them to brew some Sambira beer here, because they have a brewery, but those guys could not get past the fact that we don't have pristine alpine water coming down from the Alps. You know, I don't know, this is groundwater, we can't beer with this, it's like, so that never panned out. But you know what's cool and is coming though, is, and we gotta drive this, so their national hockey team is there.
Yes.
Right, so as the Summit Ice Arena is gonna be coming up to speed here pretty soon, we have our two, minor league teams there. The Olsen families, they're all about hockey, right? And so we gotta get some kind of cross-cultural, like, hockey thing going on, man. We gotta be able to figure this out, so. And I don't know if I told you this story. Did I tell you the story with Canada, how that played out?
No.
So this hockey rink is supposed to have the biggest hockey stick in the world built out front, it's like 50 foot. And that was great, when they first told us that, I'm like, oh, that's fun, right? We all like weird stuff, so that's cool. And then it turns out I started getting these calls from Canada. There's like some town in Canada that has like a 49 foot hockey stick, and it's the world's biggest hockey stick, and I got all upset because we were gonna outdo them and take the world's record, and Good Morning Canada was calling us. They were all upset. I'm like, look, man, what do you want from me? I go, they're building a bigger hockey stick. I said, look, how about we do this? I told them, I said, we're sister cities with Asiago, and they have their national hockey team there. You guys have a hockey team there, and you get the world's. Why don't we do some kind of tri-wizard tournament once our hockey rink is built, right? And we can all just celebrate and have fun together with.
That'd be fabulous.
So.
When we were there last time, we got all the national hockey players' signature on.
Yeah. No, we gotta get out here. And we'll shame them by having our minor league team cream them. Yes. So, it'd be really fun. But I just want to thank you guys for setting it up. It's just one of the things that makes our community fun, right? Just one more thing, and thank you for driving that. So Don, the certificate of appreciation to you.
Thank you.
And Jack, for a great job. Come on, Jack, you get a picture for us.
Jack, get in there.
This is a certificate here for you too. Thank you, Steve.
Oh my goodness, thank
You know,
you.
we've been blessed by having you so involved with getting this off the ground and supporting us all the way over 10 years.
Well, it's been fun, and the council's really enjoyed it. So.
Thanks to Dawn, too, who does a lot of the decorating of the third floor lobby. You'll see the flowers change with the seasons, and she always takes care of that for us. It looks really nice.
Right on. Thank you guys.
Where we're going and stuff.
Tell them it's, yeah, thanks, John. Appreciate it. We're all gonna have to go out there with our bicycle bumps, and inflate this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
She just sent a letter to Asiago, someone we recognize in 10 years for many reasons.
Sam's gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's right. Renee's on the task. All right, my friends, so moving along here, we're looking to have a motion for a consent agenda tonight. Renee and Joanne, all in favor? Okay. So what we're looking for approval tonight for is the regular city council meeting minutes from September 18th, the committee of the whole meeting minutes from September 18th, our special committee of the whole meeting minutes from September 25th, our payroll period ending September 15th, bills through September 24th. There's our annual schedule of meetings for the coming year. There's a text amendment to Chapter 155, the sign code, which was 2024-05. And then there's a site improvement grant request for Rocco's Pub. And that is 24-100 resolution. So looking for a motion to approve.
So,
All right, we got Jonathan and is it Joanne again? Okay. And then roll call, please.
Present.
Yes.
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 Yes?
All right, next we're looking for a motion to approve our amendment to Chapter 134 of the City Code to create 3 classes of tobacco licenses and regulations. So we're looking for a motion.
Second.
I'll second.
And JR. Sorry, Susie, was quicker on the draw.
I know.
All right. Are there any other questions or thoughts? I know we had some discussions.
Just, for clarification, there are 3 classes because we inadvertently forgot about the smoke shop, the hookah and the cigar lounges, and they should have a different class because they don't meet the definition of a tobacco shop because they're not all retail. They allow smoking and also the hookah lounge. So that's the only change for this ordinance.
All right. Well, if there's nothing further, then we can do a roll call, please.
You got it. Kane.
Yes.
Pugh.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes.
Destin.
Yes.
Birdbauer.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes?
Sager. Yes. Motion passes.
All right. And then just quickly for new business, we have, when we purchased the old Chevron property, AKA the old Texaco property, as you know, council, we had that community charrette, and we had input about what we should do, and after the whole Cyquantum, was kicking the tires here in the state, we ended up getting a lot of attention, right, from developers. And the big hot thing at the moment are data centers, and there's pluses and minuses to them, right? Do they fit with kind of a passive use that the community, was okay with during the charrette? It does. Can they be designed in a way that it could be interesting? I suppose we push for it, right? It doesn't have to take up all the property. They actually have, I think what we're trying to work through right now is what kind of property tax revenue they have. It's not just square footage, it's also what's in the building that drives property taxes. And so if they're in Cook County, they're, huge money, but if they're in DuPage County, not so huge money. So we're trying to get a better handle by working with the Will County assessor to work with our local assessor and try to actually get an understanding of whether or not financially these are the right move, right? And then I think once we gather that information, I know we've got a few different companies that are willing to, take it a step further and show us what, the layouts would look like in the plans. And again, this is just somebody courting us, an industry that's courting us at the moment. Doesn't mean we're ready to roll on this. I just want to make council and community aware of that is something that is of interest and could possibly be, fit what we were looking for. Passive use, no trucks, good property tax value. But we'll know a little bit more, especially after the assessors. And, our other options are still we could just sit and wait. We're under no obligation to do anything. And thirdly, we could do an RFP, send it out there and see if there's development groups. That's fine. I do feel like sometimes, I always say, no master plan survives first contact with a developer. So sometimes I feel like it's just, they can come back with unicorns, but when the actual developer comes or the user comes, it doesn't mean anything. But it's still, there's some pluses to going to an RFP that Lance can talk about here in future meetings. So is there anything you want to add to that, Lance?
No, I think that covers it, and we talked about this at a previous meeting. Really, we're interested from a staff level in all of you thinking about what you believe the future of it is. We have a roadmap with the Star Innovation District Master Plan, and that certainly gives us some guidance, but the execution of it is a totally different matter, and there are 3 very distinct routes that we can go, and it, based on the impact to a piece of property, this could be the largest impact to Lockport since the canal was dug, because it is that significant, it is that large, and it can have that dramatic of a difference on our values related to how much our TIF would be able to generate and what we can do with those funds to support and improve the community.
Okay. So just an information piece there, so. All right, friends. Anybody else have any new business? And motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, it's Joanne and I think it was Jonathan. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And whenever you're ready, Ken.
They had the location flagged, and they found the
Whenever you're
piece
ready.
that it was there, so I don't know if they're gonna glue it back in. It's right behind your car, on that wall.
Present.
Present.
Here.
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 Here?
All right, first on the agenda. So you guys remember Zach came to us a while back with his flag idea. And, we counseled actually kind of going through the process, right? And I was happy to kind of help them along as they're really training young people up to understand how these processes work and how to get community buy-in. And so that's been fun. But more than that, I think this group here of young people that worked on this were just amazing. Zach had reached out to, a person that, I don't know, who's that cat you brought in, man, on the online meeting?
Marty.
Marty, yeah. I mean, he was like a guy who's like done these kind of things before, and he was a flag expert, and so Zach had been emailing him, and then when he finally came on Zoom, he was like, I didn't know you were a kid. Your emails were so, high level and intelligent, because I had no idea. And so, you guys have done a great job. And it's not just kids. There was adults here too were part of it, and we just want to thank everybody who was part of it. And but you guys, come on up and give us your presentation about what you've kind of come up with.
Remember the TV program, Bill Cosby and the other guy?
Hello.
You can pull it down a little closer. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Zachary Dokowitz. I'm an 8th grader at the Homer Junior High and a Life Scout in Local Troop 63. Some of you may remember that back in May, I proposed a flag that led to me being the chair of a newly formed committee made up of myself, the mayor, 5 local residents, and a member of the North American Vexillological Association. Would the members of the committee please give a quick wave to the council? Speaking of NAVA, I'd like to share their 5 basic principles of a good flag. Number 1, keep it simple. Number 2, use meaningful symbolism. Number 3, use 2 to 3 basic colors. Number 4, no letterings or seals. And number 5, be distinctive or be related. Good examples of flags that follow these guidelines are the flags of the US, Chicago, and Canada. The core question we asked ourselves when making these flags was what makes Lockport Lockport? We came up with 2 main answers: the canal and Lockport's influence. We created and reviewed many designs and have narrowed them down to these 2. And then we have a program here that allows us to show you what it looks like when there's wind and no wind. Do I press escape to get to that?
Yeah, hit escape, and then click on the, there you go.
So there's our first design. There's it with a bit of wind. There's it with no wind.
I think it might be image 1 is the other. Oh, no, you're right. It's the top one. I'm sorry.
No, that changed it, yeah. So this is our second flag design. Oh, is that still the first one?
Yeah, it's the same one. I'm sorry.
My bad.
I think you were about to hit the, it's there you go, flag concept 3 on the top there. There you go.
There we go. And there's our second flag. There's it with no wind. And there's it with a bit of wind. There we go. And there's the PowerPoint. Yes. Okay. These flags contain 3 main elements, and they are the background color of Lockport maroon. We use it on everything from the city seal to the high school, and in many other places. It is definitively Lockport's color. The blue wave in the center represents the canal, an integral part of Lockport and its history, present, and future. And finally, the ripples. The ripples aesthetically reflect the rings found around the Lincoln statue in Lincoln Landing. However, symbolically, they represent Lockport's influence and historical importance on the surrounding region and the state. They're the color of limestone, a rock found predominantly in downtown Lockport, and even in this very building we're in tonight. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have and would ask on your thoughts on adopting one of our 2 designs to be a new city flag.
I think it's amazing. Is there any way that we can take these 2 flags? Can we turn the page upside down? Can we flip it and put we'll call the Union? Well, yeah. Yes, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
How about that?
Why did you guys decide to put it in the lower right?
So the way we chose the perspective was if you were looking at it from an aerial view on the Gaylord side of the canal, as we feel that that's the way that most citizens would experience it, and like look at the Lincoln Landing statue instead of from the other side of the canal.
Oh, I happen to agree with that. I like that one.
I also like the way when it's on the flagpole and it's the
Yeah,
wind,
yeah.
that circle then is more apparent when it's further out.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when the wind was blowing. It looks great. Then when the wind died, that top one looked great.
The waiver?
Yeah, the waving flag.
The wavy.
And I think it's super cool, and I love the way you guys worked on it so hard.
Yes.
So that's our first design again.
So which one is everyone in favor of? That's the center, right?
There's a,
Can you show the other one?
yeah. That is image 1. And there's the other one with no wind for a second, and then there's wind.
I think I might be changing my mind. I like the one in
I have a
the
few,
center.
who do I ask questions about the program itself to?
Yeah, it's a cool program.
No, I mean, not the program. No, I'm talking this flag idea. If I have questions about, okay, if I approve this flag, how long am I approving this flag for? Is this a 1-year flag? Is this when the next mayor comes in, can he come and change the flag? I mean, what are the guidelines of what are we working with when I say I want this flag or I don't want this flag? I mean, what have we set as, this is Lockport's flag forever? Or is this saying, who's setting those rules?
I really think, JR, it's a matter of nothing's forever. Even when we have a zoning ordinance, another council can change it. So I don't think there's any presumption that anybody would say this is the only flag that can ever be adopted. And even if we came up with that rule, another council could override it. So I'd be kind of silly to even say it.
To recognize this formally, you should probably pass a resolution recognizing the design or whatever, and in that resolution, you could set parameters that you want.
So where do we plan on flying this flag at?
Everywhere.
Probably under the,
Every home.
Flying the flag where the 2 original flagpoles are. I presented an idea to the mayor about putting a 3rd flagpole in there, but for the moment, my idea is to take on the Illinois state flag to fly ours up there, just for the.
Another permanent solution that we could have if we don't want to put in the 3rd flagpole is we could fly it underneath the Illinois state flag.
Can you fly 3 flags on a flagpole?
yeah, I think, I've seen them, I've seen other flags under state flags, I believe. I don't think you want to put it on the American flag.
My thought, based on the number of articles you have on this flag, that a better place to fly it would be down on Lincoln Landing, because you have the flagstone, you've got the canal, you've got that, and then put a placard underneath it explaining it exactly the way you did. And I think people would look around and they'd see the flagstone, they'd look around and see the statue, they'd look around and see the canal, and I think that would tie them to your flag as having the real meaning.
I agree with that, but I also think that it's important to have multiple flags around the city.
We're not saying that they're going to.
We're going to put up those little flags on the front of Ben's Jeep, like a
Like a diplomat, right?
like a diplomat.
Have a flag in each lease
Yeah.
Every house.
You mentioned you're going to take the state flag down?
For the unveiling, not for permanent.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, they're actually redoing the state flag because it doesn't follow good flag principles. It's the, what do they call it, a seal on a bed sheet, right? So,
The only thing that makes it unique from other ones is that it's on a white background, so it's even on a bluish background.
but they're now trying to find, come up with those principles that are simple and more symbolic, and so.
I've seen some of the designs are pretty, like the good ones are really good.
Yeah, I bet, man.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Awesome.
Well, how do you guys want to handle it? Jerry, I mean, you brought up great questions. Is it like, do we just pass a resolution that says we'll adopt this flag until,
Could you go explain the ripples and all of that? I know it's in the memo.
Yeah.
So explain the circles and why the colors, the
Do
color.
your presentation again in terms of what each of those were.
That's
Lockport.
That's border. Yeah.
the canal, and then,
The blue is the canal.
Yes.
correct? And the circles, once again?
Ripples.
The original
Ripples.
center one was the rings around the Abraham, or the
Lincoln
the
statue.
Lincoln statue down there.
But those were intended to be.
those are intended to
ripples.
be ripples of influence,
Yeah.
yeah. So I thought it was a great adoption to this.
Yeah.
Then the color of the ripples represented the flagstone that's so prominent through the town.
We're going to add it into our streetscape project, but do it.
And you could make a banner out of that, put it between our,
Yeah, you could do a
where
lot-
our,
you could do a
where
lot
our
of fun
World
stuff
War,
with it.
or where our war veterans, banners are. We've got those
Yeah.
already installed, I guess, and ready.
Can you run the wavy again, A and B?
It's really fun to look at, so, yeah.
It is, yeah.
They want you to run
That is the first flag with no wind. That's that flag with a bit of wind. And then
I like it too.
this is
The
that
problem is
flag with wind.
it's just
And the location without wind. By City Hall and then
Yeah.
by
Lincoln Lane.
Lincoln statue,
Yeah.
correct?
You know, you've got the,
Well, you said, what
Like
other
the
places
off-center
were you
green, too.
thinking of?
I like that one.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to fly the flag, they can.
Sure. I want to put one behind my business. I think it'd be fun.
Not going in my room.
So
So
what are
would-
we doing? Are we selecting which one?
I guess, I would give more weight to the committee. I mean, I appreciate you guys gave us a couple choices. Do you guys have a preference of what flag you want to go with?
Number 2.
That
I
is-
believe we did a tally within the committee, and number 3, this flag that we're flying right now did get more votes within the
The
committee.
center one?
Yeah, the center
Okay,
one.
all right. And that's fine. So I won't argue with you guys. So the,
Who's the five?
mhm.
I like the yellow.
I do too, but I mean, these guys worked hard to come up with something, so that's fine. So any case, I guess now, we could come up with a resolution that adopts this as our flag. We don't have to do anything, and we could just say, let's go make some flags and fly them, right? We can handle it any way we want, really.
I was going to make a pitch for the other one, but when the wind is not blowing, you can actually see 3 of the elements of the flag hanging down from the flagpole.
Stop one.
Yeah, the one that's offset.
Want the one that's offset?
Because when that one falls flat, you don't really see a whole lot.
It's always windy in Lockport.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, do I like the offset one? That's fine, but you guys, your committee worked on it, and I think,
Yeah, listen to them.
okay.
The center one that's up now.
Center one's correct.
All right, so, is there any,
Yeah, we just need direction if you want to put it on as a resolution, if you just want it to be a symbolic thing, then whatever you want to do. We can,
Yeah. Do you guys want to do a resolution? I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like it's a permanent thing, but
It's
yeah.
not a binding thing.
Yeah, nothing's binding.
But I think doing a resolution kind
it
of
formal.
commends their work
I agree.
and makes it official.
Put it in his resume.
Okay. Then we'll do that. And then,
So it sounds like we're not set on center or offset.
you guys want to do a hand tally just for our own opinion?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do a hand tally just for our opinion. So, who likes the current flag where it's centered? Raise your hand. We go 4, 5. All right, and then
out there?
Jonathan's trying to get votes. It's open to everybody. It doesn't even matter. I get the numbers I need.
Everybody.
Yes.
We're gonna participate.
Yeah.
So you gotta say it.
Right. Center rings?
Yeah. And I like it offset. So it's a 4 to 5. So the council.
Wait a minute, are we taking the vote of everybody now?
In the room.
We
How
shall
about this? Can we do a Facebook?
Oh, yeah, like a little tally, like a vote?
Here's the only thing I will say, and we talked about this earlier, about when you open it up there, it's gonna go sideways really fast. Like, why not a bird? Or, dude, you don't even wanna go there, man.
But the one,
So, yeah.
the one thing though, if we did do it on the Facebook, we could at least explain what the flag is.
Yes, I say we.
Or at least, or maybe after the fact, because
Absolutely.
I
This is-
think.
This is the flag
to
that
sh-
was adopted and why.
Right, yeah, right. Yeah, I think to explain it, at least after the fact.
No, we look forward to, and that would be your next task, fellas, is like, present it and put your stuff down on paper so we can post it and tell everybody, what you were thinking and.
Just one final question, is
Yeah, with the
the
next-
name Lockport gonna be on the flag? or-
No, that's the
No.
beauty of really good flags, is you keep words off of them, like the Chicago flag or the American flag or, so.
Yeah.
I have all that put together. I sent an email to Brittany that had it on the, it was somewhere on the agenda. It was like in a click thing. I believe we might be able to transfer that to the Facebook post.
Sure.
or whatever.
Didn't I tell you these cats were squared away? He's already got it done. I'm done. Yep, so. All right, so it sounds like the majority of everybody's the center flag, that's fine. So, we'll do a resolution to acknowledge this, that we'll adopt this as our flag.
It's
And
simple without any rules, unless you guys want to email us or talk to us about it. We'll put it, you want to put it on another committee of the whole, you want to go city council action? Or what do you want to do?
Just go city council,
Yep.
it's fine.
Good job, man.
Well done.
Yeah.
All right, it was fun working with you guys.
We'll do a
Can we
press
get a
release.
picture? I'd love to get a picture.
But Jesse's already here, so we're already getting an article.
Yeah, here you go. You want a picture of the flag?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, we can email them to Jesse, she's here from the Herald News.
Take the center one. Rip off the top one too. Rip off the top one. Fold it. Fold it. So we don't see the
Yeah,
flag.
I believe we should turn one down.
No.
There you go.
No.
There you go.
Bad one.
You don't fold it.
No, why not show it, Jonathan? You already lost
We
your
really
vote.
could have been diplomatic.
I'm voting no, no.
Wednesday.
All right, here you go.
One flag.
You can make them in stickers if you want to.
The other flag.
There you go. I have a blue line sticker on mine. I actually have one of the fallen officers badges. I have the only civilian car that has one plaque case downstairs in the lot. Very nice on it. We've had two fallen officers, one in 1923 and one in 1988. Died in the line of service. Yeah. I don't have any more of those.
Every 5 years,
Or do we want to change it?
I don't even like it. No, I don't like the center one.
Yeah, I like the off-center better, but
The offset one.
I like the off-center better.
All right, friends, very fun.
Target.
Right, target, that's what I think of bullseye.
Doo-doo-doo. All right, we'll keep things rolling along. So CD1 is, we're going to adopt a resolution on city council meeting next time for this to be the flag, so. All right, then moving on to CD1, final development plan for commercial building over next to Sports Huddle. So, yes, we're looking forward to this.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is related to Resolution 24-102. Mike Arola, owner of the Sports Huddle, who's in the audience tonight, is seeking approval of final development plans for a new addition to the existing commercial Sports Huddle building. I think I avoided okay, there we go. The subject property, which is lots 2 and 3 of Lockport Plaza, is generally located northeast of 9th Street and 7th Street. You'll see 9th Street on your screen heading up to the right upper corner, and 7th Street is along the bottom of that. The subject property includes lot 2 and 3 of the Lockport Plaza Retail Center. Lockport Plaza overall is a 5.42 acre retail center that was developed in the 1960s and the 1970s. It originally consisted of one large lot, but has subsequently been divided into 4 separate lots. The existing Sports Huddle is located on Lot 2, and the proposed addition will be located on both Lots 2 and 3, which is vacant. The subject property is approximately 1.5 acres in a combined lot between the two. The applicant is proposing a 10,800 square foot addition to the existing Sports Huddle building. 2,500 square feet will be the additional storage for Sports Huddle, and 8,300 square feet will be for future tenants. Lots 2 and 3 will be accommodated to accommodate the addition, consolidated to accommodate the addition. On your screen, you'll also see the building elevations. The existing elevation that is Sports Huddle and Consumer Liquors is on the right on the top where it says existing, and then the expansion building is to the left, and then there's an enlargement that shows the materials on the bottom portion of the screen. The intent is to keep the materials very similar to the existing overall development that was redone, probably 10 years ago or so. So that's the intent, is to keep it very consistent with that. And that's really my report. The item went before the Plan and Zoning Commission on September 10th, and by a vote of 6-0, they recommended the motion on your screen. Just 2 conditions. The remaining engineering items will need to be addressed prior to the Committee of the Whole, which is today. And as noted in the engineer review number 1, those have both been resolved. And at the time of building permit, the fire district's comments related to some internal conditions will need to be resolved as well.
All right, so the use of the building is just going to be storage in the batting cage?
2,500 will be storage. The rest of it is to be determined. There was a batting cage that was originally interested in it.
Okay.
They're still working to make that happen,
Okay.
but there's some tenant timing issues that they're working through.
Okay, all right, so that's why I haven't heard it. All right, so I was curious about. Okay, yeah, thoughts, concerns, questions?
I think it's great. I took a tour, Mike gave me a tour, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, of the interior of his building and to see his operation, and I was awestruck with his operation. So if nobody has taken a tour and go sees what he does, I'm sure he'd go ahead and be happy to give you a tour. It's an amazing operation there, and yes, he needs space. He needs space.
No, it's been a great part of Lockport with everybody gets Lockport Township High School stuff there, the grade school stuff comes out of there. I mean, it's been a wonderful part of the community for a long time. I'm glad you're able to do this and get some extra space, so.
I don't know if it's a concern of ours or not, but what are the details that were worked out between them and Scooters regarding traffic and parking around there? I don't want that to come back and haunt Lockport later.
No, we worked with Scooters and their surveyor to place 2 access easements that were to the beneficiary of the overall center. So one of those easements is now going to be legally recorded on the main entrance drive, which would be the right in, right out. And then along their north property line, which is currently the access drive to get around the parking lot, there will also be an access easement placed on that will be to the benefit of the overall center. So all the access is completely beneficiary to everybody that's in the center. So that was all resolved. We are working through a couple minor little grading adjustments between the two properties. This is one of the very few times that I've ever had two different owners directly next to each other going through the process at the exact same time. So the level of coordination has been pretty significant to try and make all the grades work. If you've been out there, you can see that the grade where Mike is expanding his building to the south is a little bit elevated from where the parking lot is. And so working through all those things and some of the ADA issues related to getting up to that space have been a little bit challenging, but we are working through that as we continue on through the building permit.
Yep. All right. Is there any reason it couldn't be on a consent?
Nope.
Are you okay with consent? All right, consent it is. All right, thank you much. All right, and lastly, we have our amendment, Chapter 134 of the City Code to prohibit the sale of psychoactive drug, and its analog.
Yes. Mayor, members of the City Council, this is a culmination of all the input that we received at the last Committee of the Whole, special meeting of the Committee of the Whole, and I'd like to thank everyone for participating and getting some of the feedback, and I think the general consensus indicated that there should be a ban on the sale of psychoactive drug and its analog. This ordinance presents the flexibility that if some new component comes out which has the same chemical compounds or similar compounds that have psychoactive impact, and we heard statements from a counselor at the high school that it does impact our high school students who may not have the run-in with the police agency and our police department, but is impacted as coming to school and all the other things. So this would be a ban on the prohibition. It does not ban from a consumer or individual who is old enough to use this product from ordering it online or other stores from other communities that will allow that. The trend is other communities are banning kratom and other substances like that because it does impact their health and public safety of their residents. So if there are any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them. The effective date of this ordinance would be January 1, 2025. So the plan would be, if this ordinance is passed, that we will be either contacting the stores that we are aware that sells these products, either through a letter or having, calling them directly to let them know that they have until January 1 to either sell those products or ship them somewhere else.
Any other thoughts, questions?
The comment I have, when it comes to THC greater than 0.3%, I thought we agreed that nothing greater than 0.0%.
So,
Because as things stand, we're not amending anything for the sale of these items in any of these places, because there's nothing now that is greater than 0.3%.
So make sure it's 0.0.
0.0.
0.0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was probably May.
Because here's the thing, they're going to say, well, we can't make a product less than 0.3%. Well, if you can't make a product less than 0.3%, then from the THC standpoint, we haven't accomplished anything.
Well, another thing too is these are unregulated, so we really don't even know what's in some of these products that are being sold. So they might even say 0.02 and come to find out there might be 8% or something. They're unregulated, so.
So I thought we agreed up 0.0% on THC.
So any amount of THC?
Any amount.
Okay, that was, okay. I will make sure that that's reflected when it comes back to the city council. Okay.
Do we know what it's going to cost to train the people who are going to be enforcing this? Because I'm not confident that the people that are sitting up here, including myself, would be able to go into a store and say, you can't sell that, you can't sell that, you can't sell that.
Well, that's why we will have our chief of police do that. It's not necessarily we're going knocking on people's doors. These are for businesses and anyone who has a license to the city of Lockport. And just like any other code enforcement regulation, it's based upon complaint. If there's a complaint, I'm sure they'll have a law enforcement officer go in there. And I think sometimes when we believe that there is illegal substances that are being sold on some of the products, we take it to a lab. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
we have done so with, when it first came out, Delta 8, we didn't know exactly what was in it. We want to make sure it was below the 0.3% threshold. Anything below 0.3% will not test on any of our kits because it's CBD. It's hemp-derived, right? So it wouldn't show up on our test. So we did send it out to the lab, and it came back under the 0.3 requirement. It's not that we'll be sending everything out. It really just says that the things that are listed on here, you got Kratom, we know about the Musmal, the Delta 8, 9, and 10. We know those exist now, or at least we know the Delta 8, Kratom, and the Musmal exist. We will have to keep an eye out for anything else that will come up because it will happen. But we know now that there's at least 3 things that we're looking for.
Much like we do stop-by enforcement for cigarette buying. We'll send somebody in undercover that will get, carded or not, so we can go in and check supplies from time to time. I think the biggest time constraint will be just the rollout over the next few months, educating the owners and the ownership of the stores, and once they get the information, when a police officer comes to your business and tells you you can't sell this stuff anymore and gives examples, I think you'll see them be able to adhere to it.
Okay, I have a question. So we get rid of the kratom, which I understand is bad. Then if I was a shifty store owner, I'd say, well, okay, I'll just put in kava. Why don't we even put that in here?
I'm sorry, say that again?
So if we get rid of the kratom and say it cannot be sold in Lockport, and if I was a shifty store owner, I'd say, okay, well, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and sell kava.
The kava, that's what I was asking.
Right. Kava.
Just a different substance?
It's another psychoactive substance.
Does it have any of the properties in it that make it psychoactive?
Well, see, that's why I wanted to use the term non-regulated psychoactive substances, so it covers all the what-ifs.
Well, the only concern I had with it was if it gets regulated.
Why are we worried about it?
Then,
if it gets regulated?
Well, they regulated recreational marijuana, and our city council said no to it. So
Yes.
if we only say unregulated, then if something gets regulated, then we either have to change our ordinance to cover it.
And it doesn't meet the definition,
Right.
it would not meet the definition as passed. So, and it could be argued that now that it's regulated, I could sell it because the ordinance states unregulated. And once you have the FDA or you have the Department of Agriculture actually putting in some regulation, then they could argue that it
It's
is.
so simple, guys.
But isn't that the concern, is that it wasn't regulated?
Here's how simple it is to go ahead, is if the feds, or if the state says, okay, we're gonna regulate these substances, we're still home rule, we can say, no, you can't sell them here. That's how it's done. That's how we did it with cannabis. It's allowed, but in the city of Lockport, we don't allow the sale.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Darren. I'm just saying, like, my concern was with the language of unregulated, that it will cause an issue by someone saying, it's regulated now, and I'm only allowed on unregulated, so instead of us having to revisit it, is there language we can do that we don't have to revisit this?
We would have a 3 or 6 month leeway, okay? If the state says, okay, we're gonna go ahead and allow this, and it begins on July 1st, and it's February 2nd, we have that amount of time to go ahead and then adapt to that.
And what would you say? What would be the adaptation? Any substance?
Well, could you list them both, where you say unregulated and anything that has beyond 0.0? Then you get it both covered.
Yeah, I think we were talking about different different substances, different chemical compounds. And kava, if we wanted to, if the city council, if the will of the majority of the city council wants that product included as in the ban, it can do so at this point. So if there's anything, any items that are missing, it can be added. We could amend it later on to add those items that, you know, the majority of the city council believes impacts the residents. We can add that. But at this point, if you start, then all of a sudden, hey, why don't we add nitrous oxide or other things, then it becomes the slippery slope of, we could be here like months or years. So as presented, it does include substances that other communities have found to be and deemed to be dangerous to their residents.
I do want to put kava on there.
Okay.
I think that it's important because I think it's just another gateway. Once they can't buy the kratom here, they'll look for the kava.
It's fine with me. It's like totally over my head. It's like, is that what the kids are calling it these days? I just, you know, it's one of those things. So it's a new product. And I get new products will come out all the time, so.
I don't think it's new.
But it's the first time I've heard. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well, kava doesn't have THC, but there are.
But it is
yeah.
a natural, supposedly natural product.
And is it marketed, as we talked about the other day, is it marketed to change your consciousness? Is
Yeah.
that what it's for?
Yeah, I don't know if the chief could answer.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Is it an ingestible substance
Well, look-
marketed to, you know?
Look at Google, because I didn't know. It says it's a ground root. It grows underground. So it's like, you know, you have the leaves, you have the root, you know, it's a root. Root.
And is it marketed? So, I mean, there's a lot, the potato's a root, but it's not marketed to get stoned.
I've never,
So that's what I'm
I've never
asking.
actually, we've never come across it, no. I've never seen it. Sold as,
That's going back to when we had our special meeting, that was the one concern I have, is I didn't want to get, like, something that's not marketed for this, but is being abused to get, you know, high off of, like, that's to me the slippery slope, right? We can get rid of the nitrous, you know, balloon stuff, right? Helium, get against stoned in helium. So I don't want to go for things that are misused, but if it's a product that's specifically created and marketed to be ingested to, you know, get high off of or change your consciousness, then I think that's different. Then that, it would make sense to put it in there if it's something that doesn't fall within the other, you know, THC limits that you guys are talking about.
yeah, so I haven't seen it on the market, but it says it can be taken as a drink, a supplement, or an extract.
Yeah.
So it's.
You can
so
go
it's-
on Amazon
yeah.
right now,
Yep.
type in kava tea, and you can purchase it.
There's nothing anyone can do.
Now
with
you've
that.
just,
Nothing anyway.
now you've just informed the entire populace of the city how to go around our ordinance.
But you know what? It's fine. Like Sonny said, we're not saying you can't buy it somewhere else. You can't order it online. It's just like recreational marijuana. We kept it out of the city limits. Doesn't mean you can't get it elsewhere. Just you know, the decision we made as a home rule community. All right. So if I'm hearing you right, it sounds like the 0.0 is important to put in here. Adding kava, I only get concerned if it's not marketed for, you know, getting high off of, or that, like, you know, change of your consciousness. If it's just being misused, then that's different, but it sounds like it's an ingestible product that's got these issues, so I don't, for me, I don't care. You want to put kava on there, I don't care. But lastly is just the language of the unregulated thing. And I know it sounds small, but I just don't want to, like, have to come back here if they regulate it, and then it kind of voids our ordinance. So does Ben's language, that regulated or unregulated, does that help, or does that make it more confusing?
I think it gives, it lends the ability for someone to have a defense if they're charged with a violation, saying, well, you know, it says regulated or unregulated. So it is problematic, you know, as far as, you know, proving up the case. So it's, I always believe in if something has been, drafted and it looks good and everything else, why change it, because it's a similar ordinance that's been, passed in other communities and it's worked.
Okay.
So
we don't have to, okay. that's
yeah,
fine.
I don't believe that it's a good idea to change it to unregulated or regulated.
So are we okay then with the language as we just said? Except for what? The 0 points, yes.
And I just wanted to say, I think just for safety reason, it's not, as council and even residents, should not be policing going in unless you have business to go into a tobacco store. You should maybe, if you see it, you should report it to the police department. But I think as individuals, we should not be going into tobacco shops and checking to see.
And that's pretty much how it works. Well, we do complaint-based or sometimes,
Right.
I remember one of the
Exactly.
smoke shops, somebody was selling something questionable and
Yeah.
we got wind, so we go and check. But yeah, it's not like we, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well then, we'll put it on for an action item, and then, all right. Thank you, council. Anything else then? All good? All right, so then we're looking for a motion to adjourn. Renee?
Second.
Second by, was it JR? JR, all in favor? Thank you.